Welcome again to the AIIP roundtable discussion regarding the Insolvency Law and Practice modules. Today we're going to look at Bankruptcy, Module 8. I'm joined today by Claire Burney, Registered Liquidator. Again, Bill Cotter has joined us. He's a Registered Liquidator and a Bankruptcy Trustee. And an old friend, John Shanahan, Registered Liquidator and Trustee as well. So we're going to talk about bankruptcy. We're going to talk about some of the issues arising from bankruptcy and the current move to change some of those matters regarding the Bankruptcy Act and get some opinion on that. So the first thing I want to ask is, taking consideration, at a party every now and then I get the daughter or son of a friend of mine come across knowing that I'm in the law business and saying, I've got this huge credit card debt, I've bought this car, I can't afford it, should I go bankrupt? And so the question for you guys is, do debtors go there too soon these days? Do they pull the pin and say, I'll be a bankrupt for 3 years or soon to be 1 year maybe, and I'll wear it after that?
Probably at the outset, my understanding is that I think bankruptcy numbers are at a 15-year low currently. So the answer from me would probably be no. The alternatives to bankruptcy, such as the Part 9 debt agreement regime, is probably where numbers have skyrocketed, and whether people are going there to preemptively is a possible cause for concern.
I also think there's a higher level of informal arrangements with the creditors. Hardship provisions, there's a lot more big creditors out there, banks for instance, who have hardship provisions that creditors can give to debtors. It's important to know the alternatives to bankruptcy in any situation.
But has the ease of getting consumer credit these days changed the scenario, with the afterpays and the payday lending, etc., etc.?
Those matters seem to be going to the other alternatives.
Okay.
Bankruptcy seems to be more of a let's hold out until we have no choice, and then going bankrupt. So that sort of consumer type of credit is not necessarily involved in bankruptcy. There is some, of course, but the bankruptcies are normally involved with directors of companies or small businesses.
So it's the flow on from the failure of their company.
Of their company, or their company wasn't paid,
and
therefore they had to go into liquidation. They could have been a tradie who wasn't paid by a builder. No fault of his own, he had to go bankrupt, he couldn't pay his creditors.
So tradies historically have shown a high percentage in the bankruptcy numbers?
Yes.
And is that still the case as far as you're aware?
So, yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Because of the flow-on effect of A not being paid to B and B not paying to C, and he being the last person on the food chain,
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So there's been a whole pile of discussion over the last couple of years since the 2016 kind of changes were introduced, and the government has a legislative agenda which they've slowly but surely eked out over the last couple of years. One of the big ones, obviously, is changing the term of bankruptcy from 3 years to 1 year. I'd like each of you to kind of just give me what's your opinion on that. It hasn't gone through yet, but it is on the legislative agenda.
I think the purpose of the present government, or the former governments that proposed this, was to allow people to get out of bankruptcy earlier and be more entrepreneurial, which is fine. However, the legislation or proposed legislation still requires that they pay income contributions for 3 years. So although the bankruptcy period is 1 year, they're still obligated to the trustee for 3 years, which I'm not sure how that's going to work.
It's a bit of a,
There was very little detail shared, I think, in that upcoming proposal being discussed, and it's very hard to really understand how it would work in practice, and we'd want to see a bit more before it went ahead anyway.
It's going to be somewhat difficult, I think. I would see, and on from a creditor side of things, I don't think they'd be too happy about there's 1 year. I'm out of here 1 year, and thanks very much. It's a bit difficult.
Well, they're not going to be happy, and also it's all well and good that the government want people to be entrepreneurial, but that's also going to make them. They can have 3 lots of creditors in 3 years instead of 1.
Yeah.
Which could lead into the complication of multiple estates.
Nothing's to say that they're going to be successful in their entrepreneurial activities.
And it follows roughly the model out of the UK. And looking at the reading I've done in the UK, it doesn't seem necessarily to be successful. Any thoughts?
No.
Yeah, that's definitely what's coming out of the reduction of the bankruptcy period. They're not getting time to get their investigations done.
Yeah.
They're having to make applications to extend. It's making the administration of a bankruptcy more complex when, perhaps reducing bankruptcy to 12 months was to assist those consumer debt bankruptcies.
But not the more complicated ones.
Not the more complicated ones, yeah.
All right. It should remember, we did used to have a system where you could apply for an early discharge from your 3-year bankruptcy, and not really clear why we stepped away from that, and this is a better alternative. So whether all these options are being considered properly is something for discussion.
So obviously, the statistics show that it's usually, or I think 80% of bankruptcies are usually the official trustee or ITSA. ATSA. I can't get my synonyms right. So why, as bankruptcy trustees, would you take on an appointment? Is there a...
Probably,
Because you're mad, or no?
The primary consideration is there funds and issues in the job that require a public trustee? And we will quite often direct someone that makes an inquiry to our office to AFSA. There's no need for them to use a private trustee, and because a private trustee will cost them money. So obviously, if there is something in it that needs investigation, some assets to be dealt with, or if they have specific issues, if they need to travel a lot, if they've got complex income arrangements, if they're wanting to consider a potential Section 73 annulment down the track, then all issues that would certainly add up to, private trustee is probably a better first port of call. Otherwise, AFSA is a viable option that won't cost the debtor anything.
AFSA also have a process where, when a bankruptcy does require further and detailed more investigations, they have a process of transferring that file to a private trustee.
Right. So they don't necessarily themselves want to get into the investigation stuff. Don't have the resources.
Yeah.
Resources
and funding to do so. So Section 181A transfers to a private trustee.
Yeah.
But then again, why would a private trustee take it on? They generally say what's got to be investigated to us and make us decide, I'll take it, or I don't have capacity.
So I'm pretty along in the two. So my question would be, after the Christopher Skase exercise, do trustees ever give people approval to go overseas?
Oh, indeed. I've got an airline pilot who lives in Hawaii.
Okay.
Flies with Hawaiian Airlines.
It's more common, I think. Certainly for work purposes. Yeah. And they are entitled to travel to visit sick relatives or whatever it might be. There's obviously a few boxes they need to tick. Yeah. And certainly from an AFSA point of view, the trustee is open to criticism if he unfairly restricts that person's capacity to travel.
Obviously, the airline pilot makes a lot of money and makes a lot of contributions.
Yeah, well, that's right. Daily and Chubby's not going to make the contributions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So.
And it's a very useful compliance tool that, as trustees can be used. If we're waiting on information or documents to say, if you'd like to travel overseas, first we need these documents to be delivered.
Yeah. And what is the compliance like with bankruptcy these days? Is it different now? I'm being ageist here, but is it different from somebody who's, the 21-year-old who's basically just racked up three credit cards compared to the tradie who's 35 and just got hammered because of subcontractors not paying him? Is there a different animal?
It is a very mixed bag. The types of cases we see and the strangest reasons why people stick their heads in the sand and don't engage with the trustee, which is the biggest mistake. You hear about quite regularly because obviously the 3 years of bankruptcy doesn't start until they file a statement of affairs. So there was one just the other day, Section 77 AA notices and raids on people's houses to get the information that's required, trying to help them help themselves. But we see all types. Some very compliant and they know the sooner they deal with things, the sooner they're out.
And John, you were mentioning before, obviously, one of the fallouts from a liquidation, for example, of a company or voluntary administration, would generate the usual call on directors' guarantees, etc. Therefore, there is a flow-on effect.
Correct. So the directors have the company may fall over, but apart from a liquidator's action for insolvent trading against the director would have also signed personal guarantees. So would have those creditors chasing them personally as well for their money.
Very, very common in the trading space.
Yeah.
All those large
mum and dad companies.
Will have personal guarantees. Quite often with charging clauses over profit.
Yeah. So in those circumstances, normally the director will know that I can't pay, and he knows they're coming at him, so he might as well
put his hand up,
go bankrupt, get it started, get the 3 years started, and then as they all then lodge the claims with the estate. So it takes the stress away a bit.
So put your your magic crystal ball on the table. Take consideration where the government's going regarding some of its legislation. It's before Parliament now. Obviously it got slowed down because of the election this year. This time next year, we're going to have 12-month bankruptcies?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? A lot of pushback? What are the professional associations saying to the government?
Well, we just can't. I just can't see the need for it.
Yeah.
Why encourage someone who's gone broke once to go out there and try and go broke again?
They still have the embargoes for income contribution liabilities for 3 years.
And you're still going to be on the record anyway, aren't you?
Yep.
Well, you'll be a discharged bankrupt, but you're still on the NPAA if someone does a search for you.
Yeah. On the NPAA for life.
Yeah, not for life. Yeah. Compared to if you did take the point of doing the alternatives, you're not there for life at least anyway.
Well, he's still there.
Depends which route you go down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks, guys. Okay, so we're going to move on to alternatives to bankruptcy in our next module, so we'll see you then.